The David Webb Show on SiriusXM Patriot.
But we're very happy to welcome him tonight. And he will be present in Philadelphia with me this December when Army finally does beat Navy after 12 tries.
Well, I might have to disagree with that one, but we'll have that disagreement, Dean. I'm on the Navy side of the aisle, and I'll be there with you.
Well, anyway, I'd like to welcome Captain Parker. He is a foremost authority on WMD warfare and what it means at every different echelon. So, Captain Parker, Bill, good evening and welcome.
Mr. Secretary and Mr. Webb, first, thanks a lot for the opportunity to join you this evening on another educational segment of the David Webb Show. I'm sorry, Mr. Secretary, that one of your facts there was incorrect right off the bat there with the Army-Navy game, but we'll prove that down the road.
Yes, we certainly will, and I'll add this to you, Captain Parker, from someone who's also a George Mason graduate, very good friend of mine. Go Patriots! So that was a direct message for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Webb. As you both know, WMD is a significant issue. It's been addressed by really presidents all the way back from World War I and really had a very serious debate and deliberation through both Presidents Bush, President Clinton, and now President Obama. We start talking about definitions of WMD, et cetera, and I can get into that if you'd like me to at this time.
I actually would like that, Captain, because the term is thrown around, but the understanding of what is a WMD, what is a weapon of mass destruction, would you start from that point?
Absolutely, and if I can start there, I will tell you that if you look for official definitions, which I've done over the last couple days, you will find over 50 official definitions of WMD of some sort or another. And the reason for that is because there's very serious discussion by very serious people, and so that's actually a good news story. You'll see everything from CBRNE, which is chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and high-yield explosives. You'll see some people that just look at nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons. But for the sake of this evening, and our discussion here is short, I would like to stick to that definition that you see from the UN Security Council. And actually, the UN General Assembly adopted a resolution in 1977, and that's the standard definition around the world. And that says that weapons of mass destruction are atomic explosive weapons, radioactive material weapons, lethal chemical and biological weapons, and this is key, any weapon developed in the future which might have characteristics comparable in destructive effect to those of the atomic bomb or other weapons mentioned above. So what they're really saying is there's going to be other bad stuff that people design in the future. They can be included into our definition of weapons of mass destruction.
And that makes sense because in the history of mankind, we have developed better and better, and not always for the better, weapons. We advance in our technology. A little bit of the perspective before we go into Syria a little bit more, and what weapons were used in Syria.
Okay, sure. And if I can just mention one other thing there. When you hear weapons of mass destruction, you often have people separate WMD into weapons of mass destruction and then a separate group of weapons of mass casualties. And those weapons of mass casualties are those things that hurt human beings but don't necessarily destroy property. And so when you think chemical and biological, you'll often hear people mention those as specifically weapons of mass casualties. Now, you were talking, or you asked me the question about what's been used in the past and then what is used in Syria. And so obviously this is something that's against the 1925 Geneva Protocol to go ahead and use any of these types of weapons. The three possible chemical agents, in my opinion, they could be used or are likely to be used in Syria are sarin, VX gas, and sulfur mustard gas. And I say that those are the most likely. There are others they could use, but those are the ones that through their history we've seen that has been used before. So I'll touch on those three and focused on the latter for a little bit more time. That's sarin because sarin, it looks like, is the one that was actually used in this recent event.